Welcome back to an episode of The Base Never Die. I'm joined here by Lesedi Mokwena. We are happy to be back. D&D is happy to cover this preseason. It's been dry. It's been dry with no Euros. I won't lie to you guys. This has been tough. This has been a very, very tough 2 weeks so far. But you know what's made it better for me? What's made it better for me is watching Chelsea. Honestly, I think they're my favorite side to watch lose in the world. Genuinely, it brings me a lot of joy. Les, I'm sorry to have to do this to you, but before we get into the football, how are you, brother? How you living?
Before we brought up Chelsea, I'm good. I'm good, man. Coming off a back of a lovely weekend. Good to be two-manning this with you. Yeah, no, I'm happy, bro. Happy, excited for this app. Excited to bring smoke to Chelsea. I think yes, I'm a Chelsea fan, but let's get into it, dog.
Nah, like for real. So for those of you
Yeah.
who are unaware, Chelsea got absolutely battered by Celtic just under 24 hours ago. Um, honestly speaking, like if we talk about preseason, if we're honest, we know it doesn't stand or count for that much on the day to day, right? Like people know that those aren't the results. This time last year, Chelsea had an amazing preseason and they didn't have an amazing season, right? So to
Mm.
lean solely on preseason, I think is generally not the best way to do things. But I think when you're conceding four against Celtic, and you're playing not your best side, granted, but when you're conceding four in that kind of game, the way you're conceding, you got to be kind of concerned at the very least. At the very least,
Mate,
Liz,
mate.
Liz, break it down for us. What happened? What's happening generally? I see you guys signed another guy. There's some keeper you guys have signed, but then the day before, day after, there's another 20M guy. What's happening, though? What's happening to your club?
Mate, there's so much going on. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I agree with you, in that not to take too much stock of preseason results, not preseason like performances or whatever, but the results. I mean, we saw the same Celtic team give four to City. I think they're a week, if not just under 2 weeks away from their season starting, so they are much further in their kind of preseason than we are. Brendan Rodgers has them playing quite good football, so yeah, that's them. On Chelsea's perspective, mate, yeah, I think it's a second game of preseason, but what I'm seeing is just it's a mess, dude. It's a mess. One thing at the back, Wesley Fofana, my brother, your days are numbered, bro. I don't know if you saw his first half performance. Jeez, dude, jeez. I don't want to be too critical. He didn't play the whole season. His leg was finished, but yeah, like his positioning for two of those goals was ridiculous, mate. Ridiculous. Um,
So again, I'm gonna come and say injury tax, dog. We're not gonna say he needs time. He needs time. He's coming off back-to-back injuries as well. It's worse than when we were talking about
yeah,
Sally's situation.
I'll give him time. But my brother, these first two games have been shocking. Of course he needs time, and I think also that's why we bought Tosin, that's other centre back. We bought centre back reinforcement, because obviously we can't rely on him. Why? But another thing, man, at Chelsea, just like, dude, the other day I was trying to register my, playing FPL this season, register my FPL team. When you go on FPL on your laptop, you sort by club, right?
Yeah.
You go to Arsenal, all the Arsenal players come up. You go to Chelsea, there's 42 fucking players, bro. 42 first team players. So you add two academy kids there, that's enough for two full games of 11 aside on two pitches. That is absolutely insane. You can't ask any manager to manage a situation like that. And we just keep buying more, dude. As you said, we're buying a new keeper. There's a new young center back coming in from Argentina. So yeah, I personally, I wish I knew the direction Oaks were going in. I wish, I mean, Kanye, both you and I are marketers, right? You on the client side, I'm an agency side, bro. I wish I could see what the pitch deck that Chelsea is giving to these youngsters to say, to honestly, like, what are we promising these Oaks that they're
Honestly,
just willing to come?
unfortunately, I think it's coin. I think that's all you
You
guys
think
have
that's
right now.
it?
I mean, look,
There
it's
has to be
coin, and I
more than
think
that, dog.
so. Look, I imagine a lot of them they're being sold the idea of okay, cool, like the Argentine centre back you mentioned. It's the idea of playing for a European club, right? Chelsea won the Champions League 4 years ago. It's the
Mm,
idea that if you are good, you will find a way. Chelsea care about youth, right? That's the messaging. right? That we want young players. That's the idea. Then on top of that, you have Strasbourg, right? And I think Strasbourg, this partnership you guys have with them, is going to be the biggest lie that you guys tell us. Be like, no, no, go jam there, go be hot in Strasbourg. I promise, dog. If you're hot there, then you'll come back and you can cook. But like ultimately, it just looks like you guys are trying to just buy low and sell high. And
Yeah,
I
we're
think
trying to stockpile just young talent, Joe.
yeah, I think it's hard for the players to kind of differentiate, like, because also as a player, if you believe you're that good, the idea is, dude, I'm already signed to Chelsea. Like Chelsea is shit right now.
Mm,
Like I'm gonna find a gap. I'm sure Oaks are looking and saying, there's always room. Gusto joined over a year ago. Reece James is injured. That's a Premier League staple right back right now. There's lots of
yeah,
like everyone knows who Gusto is now, and they didn't know that when he was at Lyon. It's a profile raiser, unfortunately. And I think it's hard for players to turn that kind of thing down. Like Mark Guiu should not have left Barca. It's crazy that he did, right? Because they couldn't
facts.
sign him to a new contract. It's unfortunate. But, like, Barca aren't in a great situation either. So he's thinking, I'm playing in the Premier League. Nicholas Jackson, like, most of what's reported about Nicholas Jackson is that he's not good enough. Broja's getting sold. So it's just like, who's Chelsea's striker? If Nicholas Jackson just gets suspended, who's the guy?
Mm.
And I'm
And
sure
if you
he's
believe in
thinking,
yourself enough, you believe that you're the
you,
guy.
you're gonna think I can be. Like
Yeah.
they want me in the first place. They want to sign me, so they think that there's a way for me to break through. Honestly, I don't want to take the piss too much, but over or under, how many games do you think Mark Guehi plays for Chelsea? I've got him under 50 games, like in totality before the contract's done.
Under 50, 5-0.
Yeah, I don't think he plays 50 Premier League games for Chelsea.
Yeah, that sounds about right. How many games in the season? 38? Yeah, 50 sounds about right, dude.
You're saying so he
Because,
gets to 50 in your eyes. I'm saying like he's 45 max.
nah, I think he'll be there and thereabout. Because I think generally, even now, our signings probably aren't done. Like we signed last season. We signed Cole Palmer at the last day of the window. We can still get down to the last day of this window and be like, Ivan Toney's available, 35 AM, let's cut them. Then now what happens? Like it's just
Yeah.
this planning that just doesn't make sense to me, bro. Like, yes, you can stockpile talent, but if you only have Strasbourg, and even now they are clamping down on how many players can go on loan from each club, right? So unless you shift these oaks, and now we're struggling to shift Broya, we're struggling to shift um Gallagher, Chalowa. Yes, there's probably markets for these guys, but no one is putting their hand up right now. So in theory, great idea, right? Last season we shifted everyone we needed to shift. Mount, Havertz, we got good money for everyone, right? That's not gonna happen every window, bro. It's not gonna happen every window. So yeah, you're playing this thing like it's FM, dude. It's not FM. Um, and yeah, dude, I really just don't know how we cut this squad down from 42 players. Like,
I think the issue now is teams are more aware and like more savvy in terms of how they're gonna try get your guys out in comparison to last season. Like I think
facts.
Arsenal were eager to get Kai Havertz over the line. I think
Yeah.
United really, really wanted Mount. I don't think the same is true of someone like Chalobah as good as he is. I don't think anyone is thinking we
Mm,
need to get this guy right now. I'm sure they're thinking, let's wait till the end of August. Like when Chelsea can't get
exactly.
anyone
Yeah.
else in, when they can't register anyone else, say go there, offer them 25 million. You say, look at
Yeah.
Gallagher, say, because Chelsea want like 50 for Gallagher. Say, no, let's give you 35, August 25th. Let's see.
Yeah. They can easily
How
lowball us.
you
Yeah.
guys react to
Yeah.
that. Like I think that's all that's happening. Ultimately, though, when we're trying to evaluate what Chelsea going to become, I said this to you quite recently. Reece James, this inverted right back thing, like really the possession dominant, like the building from the back. I can appreciate why Enzo is trying to instill that at Chelsea. And to Maresca, not Fernandez, of course. I can
Yeah.
appreciate like the idea behind that, but I don't think that makes sense for Reece James specifically. Like that for me is a touchline right back. I'm gonna go early here. I don't think Enzo Maresca is at Chelsea in 2 years. Like
N-
2026, like after the
Neither
World
do I,
Cup,
mate.
it's so it's done. We guess it, we Chelsea are gonna need a coach again just now.
Yeah. I think he finishes the season, but there's going to be a reevaluation at the end of the season. There's going to be someone available, you know, and yeah, Chelsea's going to swoop. Because I honestly, and it's early in preseason, but to invert the right side when both your right backs are Gusto and Reece James, right? Um, those are touchline wingers, touchline wing backs or full backs, as you say, great at crossing. That's like their top attribute. And now you're going to limit that. And dude, against Wrexham, yes, it's Wrexham. Yes, it's the first game of preseason. Gusto was inverting. He was playing in the 10 area. He was playing as a cam, bro. Like that's not. He doesn't have that positional, awareness to sit next to Caicedo. And yes, I also do think the complexion of the team will change when Caicedo's fully back. He's back in training, but I don't think he's played a game yet. When Enzo's back, when he's reintegrated into the team, however that looks. Palmer, whether he's 10 or he plays the right wing. Um, I think I'd like to believe Enzo is smart enough to realize, okay, sharp, this might not be working. Let's either invert the left side or, try something else. I don't think, and I hope, I mean, I didn't watch too much of Leicester last season, but I hope he's not as rigid in his ideas to say it's this way or the highway. Personally, I'd love to see Chelsea go to a back three. We've got a lot of centre backs. Our team suits it. And have like traditional wing backs. That's kind of how our team is set up. And our wing backs being our strength. But hey, man, we'll see. We'll see. It's a long season. It's a long preseason. We still have about 4 or 5 more games to go. Um, yeah, we'll have to see, man.
Okay, okay. So last question though on Chelsea. I'm not gonna kill you with this. You reckon you sign one more guy? And if you were to sign one more guy, who would that be?
We were to
Like
sign one more guy.
in an ideal world, like Chelsea need what in your eyes, from a player perspective?
Doug, can I be honest? I don't think we need another player. Like we just
Like
have way
your
too many
squad is your
players.
squad. This is
Dog,
you.
we've got 42 players. We don't need to add any more. But yeah, if I were to look around the market and see what smart deals there are and what could fit in the team, I probably would say a player like Ivan Toney. Um, just to get a striker up there. I mean, we're gonna get him below market value. He is probably about 27, 28 now. Um,
Yeah.
I just see him probably linking up with the team quite well and dovetailing with Jackson in and out the team well. 35, 30M is what they're quoting. If it gets down to like the last day of the window and Chelsea needs someone who could. But yeah, I think that's the only place I mean, just could because I would have said keeper, but we just bought this keeper and I haven't even seen him play. So yeah, I would have said keeper, but it's probably up front.
Okay, okay. Now then, moving on. There's other transfers, other teams to address. We'll start with obviously the elephant in the
Wait,
room.
sorry, sorry. What would your suggestion be if you were to suggest someone for Chelsea? One signing.
No, I'm saying liquidate the club, brother. I think you guys are done. I don't think that there's a player that can come in. Just wrap up the whole thing. I think it's great. Like Bordeaux. You guys must just wrap the whole thing up like Bordeaux. Just say it's been great, lads. The memories made. It's
Damn
done.
you,
It's
Doug.
done. Honest dog, genuinely, I don't think that. I think we might both be grandfathers by the time Chelsea is win the league. Like with the way you guys currently look, I think that's how things look. Maybe 2066. Like, yeah.
Dog, I'll leave that for our predictions episode, but yeah. Oh, I'll leave it for
Nah,
our community shield app.
but jokes aside, though, I think Tony's a solid shout. I think another striker for like I want to say Jackson to learn from, but I feel like there's no veteran striker that wants to go to Chelsea right now. It's hard to
Mm, mm.
convince like an established professional who wants to win now. I don't know if Tony would join you guys. It's a good shot though. It's a good shot. If there is
Mm.
somebody, I think
It's in London, dude. You just stay
actually
in London.
actually I have a suggestion, brother, and you're gonna hate me for it.
Say it, bro.
Reintegrate Romelu Lukaku. That's the only way to do this. He's on the
You've
books.
you've
Nobody
you've
wants
been
him.
about
He
you've
doesn't want
been
to go to
banging this
Saudi.
drum.
I promise, dog. Just like use him. Use him. You can't keep losing money on him every single year when he only actually came back and played one full season. Doesn't make sense for anybody. It doesn't matter if he's not happy. New coach, just be like, oh, it's the last year of a contract. If you play well, you can go win this big contract wherever you want to. One more year. That makes more sense to me than trying to splurge on one other random guy. Use what you have.
Yeah. In an ideal world, that's it,
Yeah.
bro. But I think that guy's an Italian citizen. He wants to go back. He has
I
no
saw I
hunger
saw
to
I
play
saw
in Liverpool.
he's linked to Napoli if in the event
You
that
see?
Osimhen
You see?
departs. So yeah.
Yeah, bro. He loves it there.
Yeah, but let's about Lukaku. The elephant in the room. We are now in a Premier League that does not contain the great Jurgen Klopp, and we have the resident Liverpool specialist, Mr. Matlala, unable to join us for this episode, but he has shared his views, and I'll play that for you guys now.
Okay, that's great. That's great, bro. Yeah, I do. I think, first and foremost, Liverpool struggle for top four and have a mediocre Champions League run. I think Slot's first season won't exactly light the world on fire. I think Darwin Nunez will be much better, but I think generally the new style of play will result in much less goals. I also believe that Liverpool in the coming years will pivot to a academy-focused model in terms of their player development. I don't think we'll be busy in the transfer window. I don't think we make a marquee signing that's not something like a defender or possibly a wing, but I doubt it. Yeah, otherwise, I do think we make top four, but I think it's going to be a challenge. That's what I would say.
So Mr. Matlala is very, very down on the start, if we're speaking honestly. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to be less than super optimistic about a coach that, I don't think many of us have seen, 30 Arne Slot final games, right? Like, we know loosely he's a possession-based coach, that's what he's most likely to bring to Liverpool. I'm not sure if you've seen Curtis Jones giving an interview speaking about the fact that Liverpool now plan to kill teams by controlling games in a very different way to what Klopp was trying to do. So I think he's right to expect like a very, very specific switch in approach. But I do think, at least from the little I am aware about Arne Slot, is that he does have an attacking instinct fundamentally. It's not just possession, and possession itself is the level of control. I think there is still a level of verticality to how he sets his teams up. And I actually disagree with Siba. I don't think that
Okay.
I don't think Liverpool are set up to struggle for top four, and this is a little bit unfair to say, but I don't think anyone else has had like a great transfer window so far. I don't look at anyone else and be like Liverpool are in trouble. Like, I'm like, no, Liverpool quite comfortably the third best side right now, like easily. I've seen how they've set up in preseason, and it doesn't look like the most aspiring thing in the world. And the fact that they've made no signings also kind of concerning. But I think Liverpool's biggest issue last season was the lack of control, right? Like, they didn't keep a clean sheet. I think for the first month of the season, and then after that, it took I think another five league games for they kept another one. Like, you could get at Liverpool, right? Like they didn't keep the ball that well. There was no Thiago. He's retired now. There's a new look midfield. I think getting to grips with what they looked like last season took some time, but they were still like an attacking side, right? I think having a coach that's at once more controlled, like you might score a bit less, but I think as long as Liverpool concede less than 40 goals this season, they've improved. Because the players that work as attackers, I think, will benefit from having a bit more structure on them as opposed to kind of being expected to make it work in the final third. Like, I think the big thing for Liverpool will probably be, can Slot sort out whatever Nunez is? Whatever the issue is it a composure thing? Obviously, we've spoken once about what he done for Jimenez at Feyenoord. So I'd like to think that maybe under his tutelage something else comes about. But where do you stand? How do you feel about what Siba said?
So yeah, I think he is a bit similar to you. Overly critical. I think you tend to be overly critical of your team when you support the team, obviously. You've got emotions tied in there. I don't think, and I've seen people online say that Villa's business has propelled them above Liverpool. I don't think so personally. I still think third place is comfortably Liverpool's if everything goes right and injuries, are on their side. They haven't signed anyone, right? Yet.
No, still no signings.
Yeah. So I think they need a DM as good as Indo was, and makeshift McAllister there in DM. He was really good last season. I think part of not controlling as many games last season, yes, it was the way they played. They were quite open, but that center back partnership wasn't protected quite well as I think it should be, right? So I don't know who's in the market that they could buy, but I do think they need a DM, and that could go a long way in them comfortably securing that third slot and even pushing, Arsenal and City again this season. Um, but yeah, new manager bounce. I do think it'll be greater than Siva's saying. First season, Klopp's first season was a bit. Obviously, you inherited a way worse team, right? Than Arne Slot. So Arne Slot's got a good base, got a good team. Yeah, so I honestly think I don't see them. I know we've got a predictions episode coming down the line, but yeah, I don't see them anywhere coming lower than third. I think lower than third would be a disappointment. But I would be shocked if we go into the end of the transfer window and they still haven't bought a DM. Then yeah, that I would be a bit shocked.
Okay, okay. No, I
I
appreciate
I
the
personally don't
balance.
think I know. Sorry, I know they're linked to the ex of the Real Sociedad guy, Kubo
So-
at right wing, right?
Oh, I don't understand that
For
all the way.
Yeah, as a Salah backup, apparently, I think they should be prioritizing CDM. Um, I mean, even the fact that Paulinho, they could have got Paulinho for 3 years, 2 years. He went to Bayern. That did seem like it was prearranged in like in the last window or whatever. But maybe someone like that just to stopgap at DM. But yeah, that's me on Liverpool, bro. Who else? Who do you think they should, or what position do you think they need to bolster it?
Honestly speaking, I think the one point that I think Siba got spot on was Liverpool's focus on academy players. I don't think that they need to sign anyone. There's a guy that they have that just didn't play last season, Bajcetic. I, I think
Mm,
I think teams very rarely get the opportunity where a year is almost a free hit, right, in terms of expectation. I think a new coach
yeah.
coming in, I don't think that he should be coming in thinking, I need to win the league in the very first season, right? In a way, he's boosted by the fact that Klopp didn't have the best end to the season. Like it's about restructuring, it's about rebuilding. And I think a
Mm,
great way to do that rebuilding is to have a player that you look at, you can see the kind of talent that's there, and say, this is someone we trusting going forward. And Liverpool have, like I said, they've got Bajcetic. There's a bunch of young players that Klopp bedded in at the end of his reign. And I think if Liverpool were to trust Bajcetic, if they trust Endo, and just keep it working with what they have, you might end the season where you're saying, okay, cool, Liverpool have a DM that they can rely on for the future, right? The fact that
mm,
Bajcetic was playing against Real Madrid in the Champions League when he was 18 years old, granted, it wasn't like by design or anything, but he's got a level of experience that most 18-year-old DMs simply do not have, right? I
sure.
think I think that there's a lot of talent in that player. I think that there's a lot of value to be gained from a Liverpool perspective from just saying we only need to make top four this season. That's what I think Arne Slot's target is. I don't think that there's enough teams around them to kind of threaten that. I think if you can just decide, okay, we're going to focus on youth. We've got Curtis
Mm,
Jones. They've got these players from the academy. It's like this is the year where you can say, okay, cool. This new coach is going to come in. He's going to provide a lot of stability. He
yeah.
really is our guy for the future. And you do that by playing young players. If he comes in and he spends 60 to like 100 on a wing and a DM, I think the idea is, okay, this is a lot of money to like a team that was like what they lost less games than Arsenal last season, by the way.
Oh, geez.
Like it's just like only by one, but still. If that's the guy, if that's the guy that's coming in, then it's just like, bro, are we competing with the title? Like expectations go up immediately, and
Yeah.
that's out of your control now. Like how you perceive at that point. If those signings don't take off immediately, if they're not immensely successful, there's questions, there's eyebrows raised. Obviously, he's not in charge of transfers, but it's like if it's a player who they think Klopp would have maximized this player, and then the comparisons
Yeah.
come in. Like it just creates an unnecessary environment. I think a lot of the time when that kind of thing happens, when you come in and you go for the win now thing, it's just like that's not the job you need to do. You're here for a long, long time. Liverpool aren't in a trophy drought, right? I think what they need more than anything else is a sign that these are steady hands at the reins. So yeah, that's my outlook on it. I don't think Liverpool actually need to sign anyone. I think if they
And
could, I say that because I don't think that there is this perfect Liverpool DM that's on the market who also wants to move. Because I think people are going to say things like Supermendy. I think there's a reason he hasn't moved. It's because he doesn't want to. That's what he said last season. Like he's happy in the city, and sometimes that's all there is to it. I don't think that there's this one guy that Liverpool could go and get. Like you say, Polinia, he's older, would have been very expensive.
Facts.
And immediately he blocked the pathway for at least 2 to 3 years for someone like Bajcetic. So that's my outlook. What was your question?
Do you think there'll be a sizable drop off from Salah this season? I mean, we saw a drop off last season, not from Salah, but from Robertson. Injury related, yes. But do you think that output drops at all, or we see the same Salah? We see the same Robertson. Yeah.
So
What are your thoughts on just those two players?
in terms of how Salah is looking right now, I think I'm very much of the opinion that he has 2 years left. Max.
At the very top.
Max 2 years where he's that guy. But in saying that, there was a game, Liverpool versus Everton, end of last season. And in that game, I looked at Salah, I said, oh. I said, I don't know. It might have started. Before that game, I was of the opinion, Salah, that's a guaranteed 15 goals minimum, Premier League goals, like for the next season. In that game specifically, I was just like, brother, like it reminded me of like what Ronaldo looks like now. It's like you're doing all the same things, but it's just like you're just a bit looser. Like you're firing off a bit more wildly than before. I'm just like, I don't know. I was left very uneasy in that display.
Hard watch.
That was, that was the game that was like important. It was a game where they were properly ruled out of the title, right? Like lots of pressure, there's fatigue. It wasn't an easy game for Salah to be playing in. And like towards the end of last season, he was injuries, little niggles, like that's not a nice time of the season for anyone. So I don't want to use that as my sole reference point, but it doesn't help that he also gets the new trim, new look. I'm just like, I don't know where you're at, brother. I don't know how you're coming in. Like, age comes for everyone. Time.
Hey, brush cut Salah. I'm backing brush cut Salah.
Listen. There's not a player who's like on a personality level I like more than Mo Salah. I hope genuinely, as I don't want Liverpool to win the league, but I hope that we have one more great Salah season. But I don't know. I think that's someone who truly did feel like a club player, right? Like by the end of it, like he will always be like synonymous with Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. I think if Slot football does feel a little bit slower, we don't know exactly how Salah looks in that side, right? There's room for speculation. But I'd like to think, though, he'll be fine. But Salah's not, the one prediction I'll offer in this episode, there's no Salah Golden Boot this year. I think we can rest assured on that. Like he's not. I don't think he'll be in Golden Boot conversations. I think what we'll see now is just his overall impact will be emphasized. Like just because he's creative as well. Right? I think now, if Liverpool are to be successful, Darwin Núñez needs to kick on. That's the guy that I think everyone will be looking to be saying, okay, brother, you can't get chances like this. You can't be 70 million and not the guy. At a certain point in time, it's just like, if you can't do it now, you're on your way.
This is his third season, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's now or never now.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, Liverpool, nothing to worry about. Just let this year be what it is. It's about stability. That's it. And I think Arne Slot offers that. But moving on from Liverpool, and obviously a big thank you to Mr. Matala, who will be looking forward to your return to a full-on D&D episode. When we talk about preseason, we have to also look at the signings themselves. Madrid have announced Endrick, they've announced Mbappe. I'm not going to make you do predictions about who wins La Liga. That's not going to do anyone any good. My only question to you is, when you look at the way Madrid make signings, right? I've seen them linked with Trent as well. Do you think they've kind of cracked the code, like in just trying to sign young players just at the right moment? Like, would you critique any of their strategy? How do you feel about Mbappe joining? Do you think they needed to do it? Is the first one I'll ask you to answer.
I think that's a market opportunity you can't pass on, in terms of Mbappe. Whether he fits, and I do have a slight doubt on the fit, occupying the same space as Vinicius coming in off the left. But it's one of those things where you literally, the best player in the world, best player at the last World Cup, you can't pass up on that, right? So I don't critique Florentino Perez's strategy. I think it's quite smart. What he's trying to do, obviously, is cop players on freeze, right? He wanted to get Lenny Yoro. He wanted Lenny Yoro to wait one more year so they could cop him on a free. I think he's waiting for Trent. Trent has one more year. Then he wants to cop on a free, same as Alphonso Davies. So yeah, trying to get a lot of young players. And the core there is looking really good, dude. Good young players. Of course, he spent a lot of money on that stadium, I'm assuming. And the club spent a lot of money on that stadium. So he's trying to get market opportunities. And I mean, kudos to them, bro. Kudos to them. If you can get in 2 windows, Trent, Davies, and Mbappe, without having sprayed the cash. And I mean, 2 seasons back, you got Alaba for free. Then yeah, dude, she was like businessman of the year, soccer executive
It's perfect,
of
surely.
the decade. Yeah, like
Like
it's
in
not
theory.
it's not breaking any laws. It's he's found that loophole, and the players want to join. The players are willing to run down their contract and
Yeah.
go to the biggest club in the world. So yeah, kudos to Flo Paris.
Nah, I hear that 100%. I think, though, my only issue with what he's doing, and it's not really an Mbappe thing. I think it's more about the defensive aspect. Like it's starting to feel, to me at least, and this is obviously me being extremely critical. It feels like too top heavy an approach. Like the fullbacks that you want to sign, Davies and Trent. Those are defenders not known for the defending ultimately, right? And I
Yeah.
think going for Mbappe and spending as much as Madrid did ultimately meant that they couldn't, pay the fee for Euro at this point in time. I think there is just a slight neglect for solidity. Madrid are like they're stacked. They are the most stacked attacking side in the world at this point in time.
Yeah.
Endrick, I pray, my brother, that you know where you'll play in this side or when you'll play, and that you're at peace with whatever comes your way. He's super young, right? He shouldn't be starting for a top European side now anyway. So you'd like to think that he'll have time and there won't be as much pressure on him. But it is a daunting task, I think, that you join a superstar side at 18 years old as a forward. There's not many forwards that are, well, I guess when you're that explosive, the idea is that you can be impactful in moments, right? It's not like we need him to have incredible 90s, in back-to-back games or anything like that. But I am just slightly concerned that he's joined the biggest club in the world, and it's just like, okay, cool, you'll play 15 minutes here and there, and the world will be watching. Like when you get that one chance, you must finish, you must deliver. I don't know. For me, that signing feels the most rushed. Honestly, I don't think it needed to happen now, but. Who am I Christian Perez at this point in time? This has been an unbelievable
Yeah.
past
Do
few
you know,
months.
do you not think that signing was Endrick was the hottest thing coming out of Brazil? They didn't want another Neymar situation.
I understand it, but where would he have gone? To Chelsea? I don't think anyone else is prepared to spend the money right now, at least.
Yeah, dog, he was touring Chelsea's training camp, Thiago Silva was taking him under his wing. Apparently, he was fired to come into Chelsea. So yeah, I think they just saw it as a market opportunity to say we can't let a Neymar happen again. Keep him
No,
and
look,
yeah,
listen, I can understand going for the best young talent out of Brazil every time, but in the few clips I've watched, I think if he did do it just for that reason, he might have missed. The one thing I think Chelsea have done right is getting Esteval. And I think Esteval might be a bit more transferable, but obviously different positions, different needs. You can't have
mm,
Esteval and Mbappe and then think, okay, cool, Esteval is going to come through and play here. Some like, no, no, that's not what's going to happen. So
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. I think when I think back to earlier Madrid days, like when signings like Sergio Canales were made, but he was behind Kaká and Özil, and it's just like it doesn't matter how talented he is, because it's just like when is this guy gonna play, bro? Like,
Yeah, when is he gonna get minutes?
like Canales would have been a much bigger name in football, I think, if he'd played just in La Liga broadly for like and with stability for a longer period of time, as opposed to
Mm,
what Madrid ended up doing to him. It just feels you keep saying market opportunity. It's just like dog at a certain point in time, like keep the players in mind. Like I don't like the idea that any young player Madrid are gonna go for. That's annoying. It's annoying as a fan to just be like, dude, we
mm.
don't need this guy. We don't need to do this. Like genuinely, I would have been comfortable if Madrid let Mbappe go wherever else he was gonna go and went for Euro instead, because I don't think.
That's what you need, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude. Also, and this is arrogance as like a Madrid fan. We could have gotten him like 2 years later. Not
Yeah,
going
facts.
anywhere, you
Facts.
know. But I guess
So
when he's coming on a free, there's the idea that let's just do it now. So I can appreciate that.
yeah. And you're getting him whilst he's entering his prime, like just starting his prime years. He'll be with you for 10 years. Do you have as a Madridista any concerns on the fit? Like, Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, whoever else plays on the right. Are you quite comfortable that it works, or any concerns from your side?
Honestly, I was concerned, but I think what's kind of removed those doubts and those concerns is the fact that it's Carlo. When there were talks about him potentially going to Brazil, and I was just thinking, if we get a coach that's like really about his principles, really about like where he wants certain players to be, I think there's a larger amount of concern that's required around how is this coach going to make these guys work. I
Mm,
think the fact that Carlo is as accustomed to dealing with egos and trying to get people to just play where he needs them to play,
yeah.
that it works out. And I think that, and I'm hoping this is what happens. I think Mbappe is meant to be a right-sided attacker. Like that's where we
Okay.
first found him. I think it
Yeah.
simplifies his game a lot more than than him playing on the left. I think the Vinicius comparisons are unnecessary. I think because when he plays on the right, it's not like he is a touchline right. No, he has freedom to drift inside and move as he'd like to. I think the tendency as a right footed player is you want to be a left wing, you want to cut in, you want the natural shooting angles. But I think that Madrid can play in a way where Mbappe still has that kind of freedom, still has the ability to deliver as he does on the right. I don't think him being the central figure does much for him. I think he needs that level of space. He needs to be able to drift a bit more. Yeah, I think if there's a coach that could maybe get that version of Mbappe back, it's Ancelotti. Right? Like if
Yeah.
he can like get him to believe in the idea of playing from different angles again, right? As opposed to this is the only way that you play now. There's no reason to be that stuck in this. Like join the team, adapt to the club that you've joined.
Yeah.
It's not France, it's not PSG. You're not the only guy here, bro. Like, you know,
And if
adapt
the
to your teammates.
and if there's anyone, it is Ancelotti, right?
Yeah. So
Mm,
I'm not as concerned about Mbappe as I initially was. I think at this point in time I'm just like, okay, let's see how the season progresses. It's a bit of a weird one though. I think when we look at what Barcelona are doing, like I wanna touch on their transfers, but they broke, so every single transfer rumor feels like a lie. I'm not gonna do too much about that. There's something I do want to touch on though. Roma. Roma. I think this is
yes,
a
sir.
very niche pick. I feel like the rest of the D&D cast, in hearing me suggest them, would roll their eyes because it's a very hipster approach. But I mentioned Roma because for me, they've made the signing that I'm most moved by. They've signed Artem Dovbyk, or at least they are about to. They've agreed personal terms. I think that's probably the striker that most went under the radar in the past season. Like as Girona were, competing with the title, there was talk about Savio, and like obviously his name did come up. He was their top scorer. It's not like he was an unknown throughout that season, but I think it wasn't appreciated just how good a season he was actually having. Like I'm genuinely when we're talking about like strikers Arsenal might have signed, players we were linked to. When I was seeing names like Gyökeres, Sesko, I was like, honestly, I'd have been very happy if Arteta went to Spain and said, "Please, let's get Dovbyk. Let's just see what he has." I think that's clearly a Champions League level attacker. It's a bit sad that he's going to leave Girona in the same way that Savio did just as they get into the Champions League. That's a bit underwhelming.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they're going to be able to find, a suitable replacement. I don't think that there's that many strikers. And also, he won the Golden Boot in La Liga. That's no small feat, bro. Like La Liga's not what it used to be, but like to do that for Girona, that is massive. That is massive, and I'm excited for him, man. Like if I was to, I'm never gonna buy a Girona kit, just for the record. But if I was to buy like one random obscure kit of like a footballer that I really like at a team I don't really care about, the guy who I'm thinking I need that kit. It's just topics from this past season. Like I think the fact that Roma picked up the way they did after De Rossi took over, the fact they've now signed this number 9 and upgraded on Lukaku, after having him 1 year for a loan. Like I am on loan for a year. Sorry, I'm very very excited to see what they look like this season. I think
Genuinely.
like Serie A being a league full of broke boys. The fact that they made this move is huge. It's huge, and they also signed Enzo Laffi. I don't think that
I love that signing. Yeah.
I don't think there's much to talk about in terms of like the Serie A title race. Of course, I'm gonna say
No,
less about.
Khanya, don't skip over. We need a moment of silence for another fallen Khanya soldier. Somebody went to Saudi. Do you want to tell the listeners who from Roma went to Saudi, dog? You're one of your goats.
Who's
Another one of your misses.
Dog. I think about these misses, nah. And there's a tweet I put out recently where I put my hand up. I said, of the 2020s, these are my guys. And honestly, I'm sad, but at the same time, I'd made peace. He stayed at Lyon too long. He played football half-heartedly. There'd been concerns about his attitude for a while. He moved to Roma. Mourinho gets sacked halfway through, and then big money comes in. It's just like, like he lost motivation. Like he represents Algeria now. Like the hour that I identified at Lyon versus the hour that whose career has actually played out so far. Like they're night and day. Like I can't account for attitudes though. Like no injuries. Look, because also what another player who I said was really good, Moussa Diaby. He's moved to Saudi. He's moved to Saudi now as well. Is that a miss? Is that on me? That's my miss now.
Nah, that's not your miss. Yeah. He's a Muslim oak who went back to the land of Mecca.
I was not
That
Muslim.
is our Muslim. I don't have.
Yes. So when Diaby goes, it's fine. But when Al goes, it's kind of miss. Okay. No, look, I'm glad I know the rules. It's fine.
Hey
It's
man,
fine. And also, look,
let me get my agenda off, dog.
Where are your guys' hits? Where are your guys' hits? I put the names to the table. I'm telling you guys about guys you guys haven't seen yet. I'm saying, yo, that guy. In fact, here's a free one. Mark Bernal. He's gonna make his debut for Barca this season. CM. That's an LLM in 3 years' time already.
Okay.
I'm giving you guys freebies. I'm saying go watch these old. But it's fine.
Another one
I'll hold it.
and another one of your guys who's recently moved. Kevin Turan. Do you like the move?
I like it for him. I am a bit. I'm weird about Juve right now. They're shipping a lot of youth. I think the best thing about Juve is they've got Thiago Motta in. Right, that's the exciting thing. That's the idea that okay, cool, they've got this young, exciting coach. Who's going to build something there. You have to hope that he gets more time than Pirlo did
Yeah.
when Juve first tried to go this direction. So I'm keen. I'm glad he'll be playing Champions League football. I'd like to think he's going to develop a lot more. And
Sure.
I'd like to think it's one in, one out. Thuram into the spotlight, Aouar out the spotlight. And I can get some redemption by the end of the season. That's the dream here.
You asked me where my hits are. I'm coming with a underground one. I think he's moving to Bournemouth. He's a centre back. He was on loan at Roma last season. Dean Dean Huijsen or something. Dude, he's really like 6'5" centre back, can play from the back, really good in the air. He's going to Bournemouth
Okay,
from Juve.
okay. Okay,
Yeah.
but you see what I'm saying? Juve are shipping off the young players.
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
fan. I'm not a fan of this. Like even that trade deal they did for Douglas Luiz, Perenachea, Samuel Ealing Jr. Not that I think that Ealing Jr. is absolutely amazing. I know he's actually a Chelsea Academy graduate, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
And like I think he's talented, but I don't think he's good enough to start for Villa right now. I think he's kind of been shortchanged by this move because now he's back in England, so maybe that will benefit him. But I think there was a lot for him to gain, like under Thiago Motta. I'd like to think maybe with Diaby leaving, that means that's his replacement ready, But
But they brought back
Villa have also signed, yeah.
I'm saying that, yeah, so Villa also brought back Jaden Philogene, who was on loan at Hull, he's good. And Emi Buendia is back from injury. So yeah, maybe they don't need to buy Diaby replacement. Maybe they have it in-house.
But so you see what I'm saying? Like I'm a bit concerned about what Juve are doing to these players, but like kind of just making them make weights, like they're tradable assets pretty much. And it's annoying because this is at a time when Juve are, like I said, moving in the direction of youth, right? With Thiago Motta, you'd like to think that means that they're going to be promoting from within, and they've got lots of really talented young players. They've got Yildiz, of course, who's probably like the main attraction
The guy, yeah.
at that Juve side in terms of the young players. But I don't know. I guess you have to balance the book somehow. And as we said before, Juve are they're in the broke boy league right now. Alongside Ligue 1. It's not like there's tons of money to go around. So I get it. It's just frustrating. It is frustrating when you see big teams making those kinds of decisions. It's just like, dude, you're gonna need to buy one of those guys back in like a few years' time. Like you'll think
Literally.
now we have to spend money in that position when you had a guy. You had a few of them. You really could have used. But look, I guess ultimately not all of them can make it back. There's players like Ravella who I think we could miss this season. There's Moretti. I think Juve are really primed for one of their best years in quite some time. I think a lot of pressure on Thiago Motta, but I'd like to think that they'll be exciting again, and we'll just be grateful that shout out to Allegri. We appreciate your achievements, but the Allegri era is at last at its end. Because
Stanzo.
wow, that was honestly him and Deschamps have together, they've combined to make me turn up the TV more than any other coaches in the world. And it was just like, this is an amazing team that you guys have here, but I'm just like, I'm okay.
Hey, Deschamps hate is going on, dog.
I expected better, dog. I expected better. He's capable of better. So it's just a disappointment. But to round this off, I think it's important that we do touch on the bond of football that is still going on. The Olympics. The Olympics. Obviously, everyone's going to say France are who they expect to win. I don't even know who's in the Brazil side, if I'm honest with you guys.
I don't know.
There is still some football going on. In terms of the women's Olympic football, for those who are really, really, really hipsters, because I don't know what time any of the general football is going on, but you'd have seen that Marta is still representing Brazil. I'm assuming this is her last run. She played against Japan. Brazil lost 2-1 to Japan in like 90th minute, 2 goals. Crushing stuff. Um, but yeah, man, like outside, like in the men's game, I'm outside of France. I really don't know. I don't know what we're looking for here, man. Like it's a very strange setup everyone's got. Like, do we even know who's in England's Olympic team? Did they qualify? What do we
They
know?
don't
What do we
have
have on
it.
you?
They don't have a team because you know they entered the Olympics as Great Britain. I don't think they entered a team this year for the footy. Another team that looks quite strong, obviously Spain. Um, the lineup they put out is like really young, exciting guys. I've loved Abel Ruiz for a while now. Ex La Masia striker. I think he's at Braga now in Portugal. He's starting up front for them. And Argentina, dude, Argentina have Julian Alvarez at I think he's leading the line there for those Oaks. So yeah, but I do think it's gonna be a walkover for France. Like I said, bagging goals again.
Yeah, that's another player better than. Let's not do it. Let me leave it.
Another
Let
one
me
of
leave it.
Kanye's misses. Another one of Kanye's misses.
Misses. That's a hit, brother. If we're calling Alexander like is it a miss, let me tell you
I'm
something. None
I'm
of you guys
I'm
have hits.
I'm joking, man.
Honestly, please. But I think the main attraction and the reason I brought up the Olympics is because of one man in particular, the guy who's moved to Bayern, Mikel Olise. What is his level? Truly. Right? Everyone's known he's talented for a while. I'm not gonna say he's my hit. I'm not gonna say he's my hit, but I've had stocks for quite some time. Um, but I think he's clearly shown, and I think the move itself has indicated that we're about to see, or at least I hope that we're about to see the birth of a superstar. How do you feel about Elise? What's your general take on what his prospects look like at Bayern?
Um, super exciting player, man. Every time he's on the pitch, something happens, right? That 1-2 punch, him and Eze. And when Mateta came good, it was devastating to watch those guys. It was really exciting. I would just like to see Ulysses stay fit, dude. He hasn't been fit last few seasons. I'd like to see him play, 28 plus games, start 28 plus games. I know. Do you think he walks straight into that starting lineup? At right wing? Does he
Um, I, I,
dethrone?
I think Sane is injured. I think Sane is injured enough. Coman's injured enough that by the end of the season he will be Bayern starting right winger. I think
Dude, all
that's
all all four of Bayern's wingers are injury prone and bruised. That's crazy.
yeah. But I
Um,
think he'll set himself as the guy. I think he comes in with the most to prove, the hungriest. I don't imagine
yeah.
Nabry has much to give at this point in time. Like shout out to him, but I think this is where Olise, this is where he shines. I hope so at least.
Mm. And I mean, there's a world where playing against the smaller teams, whether in the Champions League or in Bundesliga, where they can, put a lineup of Kane, Gnabry, or Coman, Olise, and Sane. Olise could play in that 10 with two Oaks behind him. So yeah, really excited to see that. To see him feed Kane. Yeah, man, super excited he got his move. Super excited it wasn't to Chelsea. I just know we would have, not done him justice. So yeah, just really excited to see him on the pitch for at least 28 starts, for at least 30 games of the season. I want to see him play. And he's a Champions
Okay.
League level player, man. I want to see him in the Champions League, yeah.
Yeah, man. Mikelise, I think you have a lot of supporters at D&D. So we're looking forward to it. Les, thank you for joining me. To our listeners, we will be back and in person for our next episode once again. I hope you guys are excited for that one. Les, before we close off, any last remarks on preseason, generally, your hopes, your expectations? Is there any shout you might have for the listeners?
My one and only shout, first of all, thanks for the app, really enjoyed it. One and only shout, there is a right winger that Brighton and Hove Albion has signed. He was at Feyenoord last season, but they bought him from Newcastle. His name is Minter. Watch out for that guy. Yeah, that is my shout for the season. He's electric, left-footed right winger, super quick feet. Him and Matoma are gonna cause trouble. Yeah.
Shout out to FM. Shout out to FM one time.
What's your Any shouts on your side? Your preseason shout?
Preseason shouts, preseason shouts. Ange Postecoglou does not finish the 2024-2025 season as the Spurs coach. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a wonderful time with all of you guys. We're out.
Peace.